Om Sri Sai Ram. Loving Sarams to all and welcome to today's session. We are honored to have with us Sri Vishnuvardhan Sir, National IT Coordinator, Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organizations, India. I would like to request Sri Vishnuvardhan Sir to take over as a moderator for this session and introduce our esteemed guest speaker for today's session. Sairam Sir, over to you.
Sairam brother, thank you so much. Okay. Om Sri Sai Ram. My humble pronounce to the lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. And as we have been conducting the series of lectures on different subjects, and this is by the Sathya Sai Seva Organization South India, South Zone, led by our Zonal President, Professor E. Mukundan Sir. And today we have our guest speaker. We had some sessions with Dr. Akila Indurti sister. I would like to say a few words about her. Those who had attended the previous sessions, it is just refreshing for them. And for the new people to know about today's speaker's credentials. And I'll say a few words about our today's speaker, Dr. Akila Indurti sister. Coming from a very devoted family and dedicated to the Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba as a devotees, she has grown up in a very devoted family. And right from the beginning, the family was associated with the Bhagwan Sai Baba and organization. And she has got a passion for English language. After her post-graduation, she did her PhD in English language. And with respect to the Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini, I would like to say, for the past 12 to 13 years, she has been associated with Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini, a unit of Sathya Sai Central Trust. And right from childhood, we have Balavikas in the Sathya Sai Seva Organization. She was a Balavika student and later pre-Sevadal in Sathya Sai Seva Organization. And most importantly, when she grown up, she has received a diploma in Sri Sathya Sai education from the divine hands of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. That's a very precious moment for her and her life. And sometime Dr. Akila Indurti sister was in Middle East countries where she was Balavika's Guru, educational coordinator, EHV coordinator, and she has conducted many workshops in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Oman, and Doha. Education, human values, such related topics. She has conducted seminars and workshops. And more importantly, I would like to say in Vidya Vahini, her role is a very, very significant, where we have a Mission English program, where we have a flagship program of Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini that is called PYF. We call it Phone Your Friend. So through phone, across India, many teachers and aspirants for the competitive examinations have opted that course. And for that, the course has been designed and developed by Akila Indurti sister. And today we have many the teachers and the graduates and engineering students, all the people who are appearing to education, that competitive examinations, those who are lacking English skills, they are opted for this PYF and they have improved their language. It's a very structured program in having elementary, basic, intermediate, upper intermediate, advanced courses, well-designed program. And Dr. Akila Indurti is instrumental in making such programs, which is widely used across India and even other countries also. Then recently, we have online English mission program through an app. We call it a sign-in app. For that also, the digital program, the English language course has been designed and developed by our sister, Akila Indurti. Apart from that, she also had been associated with Swayam platform with the government of India, and like Education for Sustainable Development, designed and developed by her. And also, I would like to mention here with the UNICEF Sarva Siksha Abhiyan for Government of Karnataka, the fundamental literacy program and trained government teachers. She has been instrumental in these programs. And just to give some statistics about the Vidya Vahini, where Akila Indurti sister is the national lead for this English mission program. Just to give some statistics without wasting much time, the PYF program, that is Phone Your Phone program, nearly 400 learners are there across India using this PYF program. And through the digital sign-in app, we have about 900 or close to 839 people, or the teachers and other aspirants are using this sign-in app and improving their English language. And educational in literacy program and educational in sustainable also, we have around 4,000 people are there across. And today she will be speaking the classroom, what is that, skills, part 2. Earlier, she has given the topic, the first one. This is the second in the series. And I request Sister Akila Indurti to take over the platform. And I think she will be presenting a PPT. I request everyone to concentrate. And we will have an interaction session, question and answers also at the end. You may likely ask, you can note down your any doubts, and at the end of the session we will have the question and answer session, and Dr. Akila Indurti sister will be answering all those questions. Thank you very much. I request now Dr. Akila Indurti sister to take over the session. Thank you, madam. Please. Sai Ram.
Om Sri Sai Ram. Offering my most loving pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan. Thank you very much for this, for inviting me for this program. Thank you, Brother Vishnuvardhan, for those warm words of welcome. With your permission, let me present my screen now. Yes. In our last session, we saw the 21st century skills which are necessary in the classroom today. It's so important for teachers to know about these skills. How to, first of all, the teachers have to be empowered in these skills. Only then you will be able to use them in the classroom and enrich and empower your own students. Quickly, let us recap the there are three kinds of skills when you talk about the 21st century skills. They form broad categories. The first one is the learning skill. And the second one is the literacy skill. And the last one, the third category, is called the life skill. All these skills are very essential. And under learning skills, in our previous session, we saw how important it is to develop critical thinking skills in the students. We also saw a lot of examples how this can be integrated into the subjects. After all, that is so important. It is not just a lecture session where we listen to it and go away. We need to have a practical handhold on all these skills so that it will be easy for us as teachers, as educators, to use them, to integrate them as part of our subjects, daily lessons in the classroom. So in the under the learning skills category, we saw the critical thinking skills, how important it is. We also saw how we have to trigger the creativity of children. So creativity skills are equally important. It is not mere rote learning. We also saw a few examples which were given by none other than our own Swami in his various discourses, how it is important for us not to learn anything by rote or by heart. It's important for us to experience. So long before experiential education became the fad, it is being spoken of now extensively in under the learning pedagogies. Much before that, Swami has taught us how it is important for each one of us to experience. Everything has to be a felt experience, not book knowledge, not pedantic knowledge. That is what he taught us right from the day he started taking us through his various discourses. So it is important for us to nurture this creativity of children in the class. And most importantly, what is so important is that it is not a class where we do the, it can't be like a monologue, the lecture method. That is something that is not being encouraged at all in the present day times. In fact, the teacher is only a facilitator. You are not going to teach anything because there are so many sources, as we will be seeing today. There are so many sources from which the children learn a lot. In the olden times, it was a teacher who taught, and after that, to supplement, maybe they would go and have attend tuition classes. But today, it is not so. At the click of a button, you have so many devices, you have technology at which the children are much more adept than we adults. So it is important for us to see that there is a two-way communication in the class. So everything happens only by collaborating. There should be a lot of collaboration in the class. So we form teams, how to have team building sessions in the class, how everything can be done in the form of children can learn, they can form groups and they can learn from their own peers, and the teacher only facilitates this learning in the classroom. That is the ideal kind of a classroom which we, especially if we are educators in the Sathya Sai schools, we have to empower ourselves first to see that we incorporate all these skills into our classroom so that we are not lagging behind. The Sathya Sai schools should not be lagging behind any of the so-called elite or the front runner schools in the country today. So that should be our aim. And that is the aim of all these sessions that are being conducted month after month, so that we as teachers will be able to incorporate all these skills into our own classroom, get guidance from people who have already used them. And if there are any doubts, we clarify them and see how we can best make use of all these things without, putting ourselves to a great deal of, I wouldn't call it extra work. If you use all these things, what happens? It is not what you're already doing, the traditional method plus these. No, it is in lieu of the traditional method of teaching. So when we use all these things, what happens? Your talking becomes less. You are able to conserve your energy a lot more, make use of all these handy tips so that your classes become a lot more interesting, and the children don't learn just by rote, but they are able to grasp these concepts, whatever subjects they have to learn, in such a way that they don't have to go for extra classes after the school hours. And our aim in doing all these things is not to target only the front benchers. They will anyhow come up and do well. Our aim is to see that the nth child also benefits from all these interesting methods of learning. So as we always say in Vidya Vahini, we make our classrooms interesting, we make the classrooms insightful, we make it inspiring because there's a lot of value content that we add into it very subtly, and it has to be enjoyable. At the end of the day, the teaching learning process has to be extremely enjoyable and participatory. We want all the children to participate in these lessons. So with that preamble, let's having brushed our skills on the learning aspect, that is the 4 skills: critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. Let's see what the literacy skills are. What do we mean by literacy? Literacy is where we become literate. Literate means where we become knowledgeable, where we get to know. Know what? Information literacy. The first in the series of this information under this basket, information literacy skills, is information literacy. Today there is actually an overload of information. The minute you go, where do we go looking for information, whatever it is, whether it is even an ordinary thing in our daily lives. If you want to do something, you want to buy something, the first thing you want to see is you want to get review. Immediately we go to, where do we go? I'm sure most of us pick out our mobiles and start using Google. That's why we say Google Guru. So we go there and we write how to. The minute you type the word how to, what happens? A series comes from how to comb your hair to how to, put a nail on the wall, how to buy something, how to go asking for something, how to go looking for information, how to cook something, how to fix a pipe, a broken pipe. There is such an information overload that is there in today's world. So it's very important for us to know when and why you need information. Sometimes there is so much that you get so confused, you don't know what to look for. So it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. We have to have a target. We have to see what we want precisely without wasting our time. We have to know where to find it, which are the right sources where we can go and get. Because what happens is, most of us know, we just think it's only for 2 minutes we are going to surf online. But it is never 2 minutes. It just stretches on because there is so much of information which, we are captivated. Our attention is just captivated by the kind of information that is available. So what actually is a 2-minute exercise becomes a 20-minute exercise. And before we know, it is very late. And sometimes these are called time stealers. They steal our time because they do not let us focus on activities where we have to. So we should know when and why we need information, where to find it, how to evaluate. Evaluation of this information is very essential because not everything is authentic. There is so much of information that's available. Anybody can make a YouTube. Now we are making a YouTube of these lectures and putting it. Now that is something that is meant for enriching ourselves. Like this, anybody can make a YouTube. Some of these are excellent. For example, if you buy a new product, a new, let's say any new product you get from Amazon or any of these e-commerce platforms, and you don't know how to use it, immediately you go to the YouTube and say, how do I use this? And there comes a short video saying it's like a tutorial which says this, how to do it, including how to cook rice. It's okay. You don't have to learn to do anything. You just have to say how to, and immediately it comes. How to cook rice, how to keep vegetables, how to boil milk, how to switch on the gas, how to use a gas lighter. So everything is there. So we need to evaluate which is authentic, use it, and communicate it to our own students in an ethical manner. Ethics is something that is so much, in debate in today's world. There is so much of things that are happening, so many things that are happening in this dark web and in this online world, that we should know and also teach our children where to look for information which is ethical. So you have to caution them. If you have to caution them, you have to know how to use it. Today, children will use ChatGPT to write an assignment. You may not know, as teachers, you may not know how to look for information in ChatGPT, but children know, and they simply copy paste and put it there. And you think, oh, my children have done a very good job of their assignments that I gave them. But it is not so. So you have to keep telling them of what is the relevant information, how to locate the precise information amidst a sea of data that is so important. There is so much of data that is available, whether it is for academic purpose. Maybe you will be looking in, on the net in order to make your classes interesting, but you should know what is the relevant information, where to go and search for it, how to draw that information, and how to only give, Swami always used to give this example. Information is like an ocean. But if a person is thirsty, he doesn't go to a river and take a bucket full of water and pour it on us. He doesn't use that. He just takes you, all you need to quench your thirst is a glass of water. But you must know how to draw that. Just because there is so much of water in the river, you can't just go and immerse yourself in it. It doesn't quench your thirst. All you need is just a small glass of water. So like that, you should know what is the precise information amidst the sea of information that is available, whether it is for your own academic purpose or for creating a project, or whether it is for any problem solving. As I told you, there are so many things that we need to solve. We need information how to do this, how to do that, how to switch on a new television, how to assemble a new gadget. All this is problem solving. You get the information, but you should know how to get it. So this, if you give them this tip, it helps the students to avoid wasting their time on irrelevant and superficial content. Sometimes we go to see something, but then we forget that because other things are so interesting. We are there and then, oh, I went for this, but my focus got lost and I'm just looking at something else. So that way of wasting your time gets, you're able to not lose your time in wasting, but get the relevant information correctly. And the credibility of information is so important. And this is something that you should be aware of and keep telling your children every day, because they are the ones who are consuming this content that is coming up either on their mobiles or on the tablets or on their iPads or whichever device. Evaluate this credibility, find out if it is, because all the information is not accurate. Everything is not reliable and everything cannot be unbiased. People put in a lot of their own biases, their own likes and dislikes. So when you give them this kind of a handle, what happens? It enables them to source this information. You've already taught them critical thinking. So keep telling them, think, evaluate, look at the evidence, see if it is authentic, and then you take your decision, because it should be based on sound evidence. And what is the evidence? Are they giving something about people who have used it? Are those reviews, is it all, you can see the, if all the reviews are unbiased, or whether it is coming up, it's a paid review. People get paid for all kinds of things in today's world. So is it going to be a paid review, or is it going to be a clear, unbiased review? Is it a product from somebody who is known for doing good products in the market? What is their rating? What is their credibility? What is their score? All these things, you as teachers, it is important for you as teachers. It's not just in today's world taking out a book and reading from cover to cover and explaining it and saying, oh, I have done it so well, such a thorough job. No. You have not done a thorough job if you have not empowered them on these 21st century skills. These were not there when we were all growing up, but today it is no longer so. Now, from information literacy, we move on to digital literacy. We have seen how we have to check the credibility of information, and then we move on to the digital literacy. It is so important for students to be competent in using this technology responsibly and effectively. You know how information just gets, how many times people get killed on the, especially famous figures. Somebody just puts a WhatsApp message saying that so-and-so is dead. And then that gets, without verifying it, it just gets passed on. And by the time somebody verifies that information, it is just, as there is a saying, before truth even puts on a slipper, falsehood would have completed a whole round around the world and come back. So that's the speed with which this kind of information flies in today's world. So you have to ensure that they are using technology responsibly, especially the WhatsApp. That is something that all of you have to, as responsible educators, the first thing we should, it's a self-regulation. Never forward a WhatsApp message. Why do we get that? The thrill that we feel, whatever we have read, somebody else has to read. So even before you read through it, we just press the forward button and we send it. So you have to evaluate. This is a 21st century skill, a very practical skill that all of us have to be aware of. Never forward a message, however much you feel it's going to be important. Think, is it important? Why is it important? Why should we send good morning, good evening, happy birthday, happy Women's Day? All of us know it is. If at all you want to wish somebody, you can just type out some personal message and send it. But why should we keep sending those infographics? And there are plenty that are available in today's world. It only goes and clogs our, data. But then we are so tempted. There is so many things, the senses, the sense of sight, the sense of hearing, the sense of speaking. All these are so tempting in today's world that we don't pause to think why we are doing it. Why should we do it? Is it important for us? Is that information so important that we have to send early in the morning 100? It's a waste of our time. It's going and clogging somebody's WhatsApp, the data. So we have to use technology responsibly. It is there because it also gives us a lot of good information. Use it very, very, responsibly. And before you send something, before you read something, before you come to a conclusion, keep asking the questions. That is critical thinking. Is this relevant? Is this true? Can this be true? Why is someone sending this? Do they have an ulterior motive in doing it? So yesterday's solutions are not sufficient for today's problems. Every day there are a lot of problems that come up. And half of the problems are man-made, created by our own irresponsible behavior. So what are the classroom strategies that you can do? You have to incorporate a lot of digital tools as part of your own classroom teaching. Use a lot of Google worksheets. There you see digital literacy is very important. When you're using worksheets, you don't have to sit and correct everything. It's just a one-time effort. If you are not already using it, please learn how to do it. Use these worksheets, whether it is in Microsoft or whether it is in Google. And you might multiple choice questions you can give the children, and then you can give it to them, ask them to do it as part of their homework. They just have to click and automatically the correction takes place. You are able to assess how much they have learned, whether there is a gap in the learning, whether you should revise your strategy, or whether the children are not interested in the classroom teaching. Why are they not interested? Is it because there are distractions outside, or is it because you are not teaching properly? So many of these things you can evaluate based on that evidence. So make use of this Google Workspace, make use of Canva to create infographics to make your teaching extremely interesting. If you don't have the time, you can always use Vidya. Vahini has got any number of classroom modules which are being used to make your classroom teaching effective. See if you can, if you're a physics teacher or a science teacher or a computer teacher, if you can teach them, incorporate some coding platforms. So teach them how to research online, to create projects. And of course, as I keep reiterating, digital ethics. Every time you teach them something new, along with it, there should be a digital ethic which you have to teach them. And you can also use AI tools. You can also use data analysis, which are, at a higher level. You can teach them how to analyze the data that they are coming up with. I think somebody has raised a hand. If you can just note down the doubt, I will give you time towards the end. We'll come back, revisit, and we can take the questions so that it will not, affect the flow of this conversation. Integration, yes, you have a lot of interactive educational games. You can integrate them as part of it. It requires a little bit of research on your part as an educator. There are apps which teach students if it is environmental conservation, if it is recycling, if it is rainwater harvesting, or if it is an experiment that you're doing. For all this, there is a tool that is available online. All these activities are available. So you can use these simulations to show them in the class, because most of the classrooms have smart boards today. So make use of it. You have tablets. If you are Sathya Sai schools and if you are being catered to by Vidya Vahini, the tablets have been provided to your schools. Make use of those tablets, make use of those activities to integrate this digital form into your classrooms. You can teach them a whole lot of themes using these digital mode. And then there are digital storybooks or ebooks which focus on education themes. So you try to find out what these are, and then you can see if this helps them to understand about pollution, about environmental protection, about conservation, about what they can do. Now that's so important. And this is something which is very, very practical. It's a real world application. It's no point just learning, as I've been telling, I think repeatedly in all my sessions, whether here or elsewhere. It's not enough if we just talk to them about, teach them physics or chemistry or biology or computer science or English or Kannada or Tamil or Telugu or Malayalam or Hindi or any language or math or whatever. What is important is how is it going to equip them to face the world? So each thing that you teach has to have a real life component. It has to be, from the very young age, it has to be drilled into their heads. Otherwise, we will still be grappling with problems like throwing garbage on the roads, plucking leaves, pulling, destroying trees, teasing animals, teasing wildlife, drawing graffiti on our monuments. All these are being done by whom? They are all educated people. But why are they doing it? Idle minds. Because they are all educated. The so-called education has not taught them practical things. Spitting on the road, throwing things. If they are driving past, they just throw something in some other area and they drive past. When they eat, they don't put their chips packet or bottles inside their bags. They just throw it wherever possible, wherever they find an empty space. So all these are not responsible behaviors. All this has to be integrated into your classroom teaching. And this is something much more important. Swami kept telling us, education is for life, not just for making a living. So it is not preaching about a Gita class or a sloka or something or a bhajan separately. All this is part of their practical daily classroom teaching. So this is how we try to integrate it. And some more examples. You can organize virtual tours using interactive websites. There are beautiful websites. National Geographic has it. Discovery has got, Discovery Channel has got. All these have got an educational content component. Please make use of all these things. Whether it is a volcano, there is a simulation. It just shows the different types of volcanoes. And when you teach them in that 3D effect in the classroom, children won't forget it at all because they have seen it and they will definitely remember. You're talking about the different kinds of soil. You're talking about Earth's crust. Everything is there in all these videos are there. Small videos are there in these. These are all free. They are available for us to use in our classrooms. So make extensive use of all these things. When we are talking about biomes, when we are talking about ecosystems, when we are talking about habitats around the world, all these things, or when we are talking about traffic, the pollution, transport, different types of transport. What is the climate crisis that's facing the world today? Why? What is the El Nino effect? What is La Nina? Will there be, is the summer going to be really hot this year? If it's not going to be hot, what is the La Nina effect that we are going to go through? Last year, why was it extreme? Why did we suffer? What is this El Nino effect? And all these things are happening because of our own irresponsible behavior. Why are landslides happening? So many things that you can bring in if you are in touch with reality. So we as teachers have to keep in touch with what is happening in the world around us so that we can make use of all these things as part of our own classroom teaching. And then you can take them on virtual field trips. It's not necessary that always we have to keep going. We saw the landslides that have happened in Uttarakhand. We saw the landslide that happened in Wayanad. All these are available as small, YouTube videos. Show them all these things. Show them how each one of us is responsible for this. It's not somebody who's responsible. We are also responsible. So from a young age, if you teach them these things, they know what is right and what is wrong. It's enough if we as educators just din this into their heads, the right form of behavior. We've done our job in this world. Believe me, it's not that our profession is not only for making a living out of it. We are going to influence these children. And when can we influence? Only up till the time they are in their 5th or 6th class. After that, it's only a continuation of what foundation has been laid for these children. So we engage them in these things, in these world around us, the real life problems, and then we involve them in decision making. What will you do? How can we help? Make them think, make them speak. So we have to make the children speak in the classes. And you can give them small, tasks. How can you digitally map the trees in your own area, in your own street? See what, in the beginning of the year, how many trees were there, and at the end of the year, how many trees are there? Has there been an increase, or has it been the same, or is there a decrease? See what is the source of pollution in your area. Can you track an animal migration route? Do sparrows come to your place, to your area? Why not? Are there crows? Why are there no crows? How many mobile towers are there in your own locality? Small things. These are all very small projects, but these are real life projects. And what has happened because of these mobile towers? We need 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G. We can keep going. We need this technology, but has it affected other life forms? There are only pigeons today in all the cities and towns. What has happened to the other birds and animals? So this is the way we conduct virtual environmental experiments. We allow them to explore these concepts. When it rains, find out how many houses are tapping that rainwater. Or is the rainwater getting drained? Why is it getting drained? Because we don't have rainwater harvesting method. Find out in your own locality how many houses have. Start from your own house. Do you have a rainwater system? Are you collecting that water? Where is it going? Is it going to the sump? How are you cleaning it? These are all small things, but you can integrate it with the lessons that you do. And integrate this communication technology, information and communication technology into your everyday practices. Don't give them question answers like, what is this, what is that? That anyway they will know, and anyway they'll forget. That's not going to be anything interesting for them to do. Instead, give them these kind of paperless assignments. When you're writing a letter to the parents, make use of emails. Use all the energy saving measures. How do you save energy? Let's wake up only during summer. Throughout the year, what are the energy saving measures that we can do? Are we switching off lights and fans when we go out of the room? How many times do we do it? So all these things can be mapped, the data collected towards the end of the classroom, the year, academic year. Even you can read through the waste paper basket that's kept in your own classrooms. What do children eat every day? The eating habits, good diet can be mapped by just looking at the waste paper basket. And don't threaten children, don't preach. It should all come on their own. Just tell them what is the right and what is wrong and see if they are following it. This preaching is what puts off children. They run away looking at us. So that doesn't work at all. So this way we can analyze the data. Beginning of the year, if there are 30 chips packets or 20 chips packets in your waste paper basket, after talking about good diet and healthy behaviors, is there a reduction in the number of chips covers and juice cartons that are there in the waste paper basket? Children are smart, they may just hide it, but at least you can give them some kind of, ask them to audit it themselves. Tell them you don't have to come and tell me, but you do it yourself and see if you're able to, reduce having these, or how do you improve your good behavior, that is good diet pattern, and how do you reduce the bad patterns, and how difficult it is. Is there any way we can solve it together? Let's make it like a game. Is it possible for us to introduce something good? If you're eating 10 packets in a week, Can we introduce one good thing in a week and 9 packets? The next week, 8 and 2. The next month. So like this, make it like a playway method, not a threatening way. So this is data analysis by which you can ask them to analyze their own data. And then social media campaign. This children would love to do. Any day that is coming, maybe now if we are observing Aradhana Day in our schools because it is Sathya Sai school, let's start a small campaign. Ask the students to plan a small campaign and amongst their own classroom, classmates, let them circulate. Is there any one good thing that we can do or any good thing that we can help somebody? Let them create the campaign. Let them create the awareness. Let them raise the awareness. Let it be some societal issue. And then they should be able to inspire action. How much have we succeeded after the program? Why have we not succeeded? Is there something that we can do better? So this way we can integrate a lot of our own subjects into our digital literacy. And next comes media literacy, very important in today's world. We have to also see there are so many, as I told you, the senses are getting bombarded by a lot of information, content that is coming up. YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, so many other platforms, the social media platform, messengers, instant messengers, so many things are there which students know better than us. Advertisements that keep coming in, and the news itself. Just see how the media shapes our perceptions. And it's very important for us to recognize the misinformation. How many YouTube videos are just getting, somewhere they just create saying that in some locality something has happened and they trigger riots because of that. So all this is irresponsible way of taking creating content. So this is where we have to talk to them. Don't fall for fake news. There are so many things that come in the in this WhatsApp and YouTube videos. If you eat this, your liver will be clean. And who are the ones who are doing it? Not those medical doctors who have spent 7-8 years in their medical college. It will be done by somebody who's got absolutely no qualification or experience to talk about it. Drink this kashayam, drink that, drink this, make this, eat this. It's called the WhatsApp University. All of us are being bombarded by this. And many people, poor things, they fall prey to all these things and say they do this. And there's this fear being created. All the planets are aligning. So something is going to happen to the world, or this is going to happen. So do this, do that. And poor things, people will keep doing it without thinking whether it is rational or not. All this is fake news. All this is misinformation. You have to help children. First of all, you don't fall prey for it. You help people around you not to believe all these things. And then you have to tell the children not to fall prey to this and also not to create such fear-mongering videos. Children are very good at doing all these things. So tell them not to do. Instead, they can develop their skill in storytelling. How can we tell a story? Can we tell the story of a seed, from a seed to a tree? All that we have learned in our biology, can we make that as a story? Can we create multimedia using that, using technology? Create something that's useful. Children will really love to do it. Make it as a teamwork. This can be a project for them. They would love to do all these things. And when they're doing it, they're also learning that lesson. So this way we can talk about responsible media literacy. How do you teach it in the classrooms? You have to ask them to analyze the advertisements. Don't fall for anything. You have to see what language they use. Sometimes the language that they use is very subtle, but they are actually creating that psychosis in our minds. See the visuals that they use. See the music. So they try to persuade you to buy something. It is so compelling that you really go to the market, or it's online, no? It's available online. You just click and you buy it. Is it necessary for us? Or is it people are trying to create these products and sell it in the media? So you analyze these advertisements. And how do you teach them fact-checking techniques using real-world examples? Very often people just inform, this has happened, or this is very bad. You go to the online sources and see, is this fake news? It will be a fake news, which is very sad. So this world is now bombarded with this kind of information. So media especially, you have to teach them to examine each media post, to identify bias and what is the intent. Just today, I was just looking at Google News, and suddenly there was one message which said, government bans AI tools, Chat GPT and DeepSeek. I was quite perturbed. I just went inside, and then the media, it's a news item, and then they say the government has banned it. The finance ministry has banned Chat GPT and DeepSeek. Employees of finance ministry should not use it for their official purpose, because many sensitive data, secret data can get can escape to the outside world. That is all the news was. But look at the way the sensationalism, they have sensationalized, saying that government bans AI tools like Chat GPT and DeepSeek. So this is how they create this sensation. We have to be very careful to deconstruct these kind of media messages. So you assign students a task where they can design their own ad, they can make their own video, they can make their own infographics, and then you can discuss how to do it in a right way without bringing in your own thoughts, without bringing in your own subjectivity. Just state facts, make it interesting. How can we make this content interesting? So you have to be, sometimes there is gender bias, there is racial bias, there is community bias, there is religious biases, cultural biases, regional, north, south, west, east. All these things, the media has really made our lives miserable. So you have to teach the children to create projects based on this, using all these, do's and don'ts. And how does it help them? It's a real world skill, 21st century skill, because that they can use tomorrow when they step out in order to make a living. They can do it. They can find a job. Their skills are getting polished. They are learning some skills which will help them to, make a living, or which will help them in their higher studies or also in their job prospects. So how do you integrate it? We read news articles and we evaluate the credibility of these news sources. Some news channels are only to create sensationalism, but some are very responsible. So you have to now know which is a biased reporting and which is responsible reporting. You analyze both and teach them in the class how to understand media bias. This becomes, in your language class, this can be a very good project. And then how to create their own media content by developing storytelling, digital storyboards, communication skills, collaboration, all these things, creativity. See, now you're using all those skills in the class. And you're able to promote media awareness by making them research some TV shows, responsible TV shows, children's shows, how some of these children's shows can become, for example, a very harmless video like Tom and Jerry. What does it show? Either Tom keeps beating up Jerry or Jerry keeps beating up Tom, or trying to outwit one another. It may seem to be very harmless, but when you actually think about it, it is actually promoting a lot of bias, a lot of violence. So there is nothing that is innocent in this world any longer, unfortunately. So these are things that you have to keep, teaching children. There'll be a thin, tall girl who is actually always being bullied, or a boy who is a fat boy who is being body shamed. And this becomes laughing content in these serials and in these cartoons. So these are the things how, people depict, and it is subconsciously getting into the children's heads. Oh, maybe you should not be obese for health reasons. But it is not body shaming. It is something that to get good health, we have to have good, follow a good diet pattern. So these are good things that we have to teach them by evaluating the biases that come. So these are ways by which you can integrate in a language class. The same thing in a social studies class, you can see how a news item is being reported in different newspapers. Ask them to look into different newspapers and see the same news, how it is being reported by various media outlets. It can be a natural calamity, how it is being reported. Some will be a lobby where the tree cutting, the forest lobby, they would try to influence by saying, don't talk about these things, talk about things which do not bother. So the reporting will be like that. And some will sensationalize, people dying, and they will show those kind of visuals. And some will actually have an unbiased reporting which traces the history of why this has happened. Why was there a landslide? Why did it happen? So this way we can help them, whether it is your geography class or history class, you can integrate it into your classrooms. And sciences, how do you assess scientific discoveries? What is sensationalism? What is inaccuracy? You can point out inaccuracies. You remember, I do not know, some of you might have seen, some of these very responsible young men called Fit Tuber and all farm. I don't remember their names, but they came out saying that, this is a health drink. They keep talking about Cadbury's and Boost as a health drink. But then they are not health drink. There's so much of sugar content in it. And they fought, and now they are not touting it as a health drink. They are doing a great deal of service to society. This is inaccuracy. All of us thought, drinking Horlicks, drinking Bonvita was actually, helped us to maintain good health. But actually it was nothing but only sugar and a lot of not so good things which were there. Similarly, bread. So many things. So now these are all awareness videos which are being created by some young people in order to make us aware of the inaccuracies by which people are, selling their products. Similarly, climate change documentaries are there. Social media campaigns are there. See which is good, which is credible, whether there is a bias involved, whether they're doing it with an ulterior motive. This is where our own critical thinking skills should come into play. Then, as far as mathematics are concerned, fact checking. You can check how many times there is a statistic says that this is, a biased reporting. You can ask them to analyze graphs. You can ask them to analyze infographics and news articles. So these are some ways by which they can integrate it into subjects. Similarly, in computer science, algorithms. Talk to them about algorithms. Do you know what algorithm is? For example, when you're just looking at something in your mobile, immediately there'll be always information on that coming up. You just watch some program. Supposing I'm watching a Sai Bhajan, then there will be only Sai Bhajans that are coming. If I watch some news channel, then only news about that keeps coming. How does it happen? The mobile phone is the greatest eavesdropper in your homes. We actually don't realize it. We might be speaking about something, suddenly it is being picked up, and tomorrow information about that will be coming. It may be about pet food. It may be about pet grooming service. Suddenly you will find, when you're looking at something, there will be in between such information comes. That is called algorithm. It is built in such a way, all these web tools, online tools are built in such a way, they are able to psychologically see what you are looking at, and information comes. If you're looking for a house, for example, you would have just seen something, then suddenly you will find a lot of information about that coming up. Magic bricks and no broker. And I'm just giving you an example. How does it happen? This is called algorithm. So we have to be very aware of it. This is how the mobiles that we use in our hands, which we keep even inside our bags, it's able to pick up what we are talking, what we are looking at, what we are searching, and come out with that kind of information. So you help them. In sports, you help them analyze how sports, are we talking about the sports person's private lives, or are we talking about actually the sports, what the sports persons, how they are exercising, how they have built themselves to come up to this level, what is the fitness regimen that they are following. So this way we can integrate all these things into our lessons. And then talking about the last set of skills, the life skills, it's so important for us to prepare our students to respect diversity. Today we are talking about equity, we are talking about diversity in the classrooms. There are different kinds of children from different backgrounds, different religions, different communities, different castes. We have to help them look at everybody. And that's what, especially the essence of the Sathya Sai mission itself is nothing but diversity. All are one. That is what Swami has been talking to us, and that is what we as teachers, as educators have to propagate in our own classrooms. So you prepare them for a world where everybody is treated equally. No bias, no discrimination based on caste, community, religion, region, language, nothing. So these are things that we have to prepare our children. So how do we integrate it into our classrooms? We try to make them look at it from different perspectives. We look at it from our perspective, things look very different. Look at it from a national level, things look different. Look at it from a global perspective, things are different. And of course, all our Sathya Sai schools I know are celebrating all the cultural festivals. And it will also be very good now that we are having a platform where now see we are having Sathya Sai schools from different regions coming in. What is the great thing about our own school celebrating our own festival? Instead, if you can get an online collaboration where somebody from Andhra talks about their religion to somebody who is in maybe in Kerala or in Tamil Nadu about something that is very specific, some cultural significance, some custom which is very region specific. You can have that kind of a collaboration so that your children know all about the customs of other states. Please think about it, whether you as as at least as Sathya Sai schools, we come under a platform, we have an umbrella. Can we explore these possibilities? First, we can do it amongst our own southern states. At least once in a quarter, if you can have students from your school, talking about their customs, their culture. For example, in Telangana, you have customs like Bonalu and all that, which many people may not know in other states. In Kerala, you may be having, something like Kavu or, the sacred groves about which others may not know. Somebody can talk about it. So this way, you see, children, their perspective is becoming quite wide. They know all about the customs. First, let us know about our own southern states, and then we can have collaboration with the rest of the country. It's such a vast, beautiful country. So think about it, whether we can have such, this is a life skill. You're preparing them for their mind opens up, their ideas opens up, they are able to visualize what happens in other places and allow them to take leadership roles. Everybody should take on a leadership role. So team building happens when you have a classroom strategy where you use a lot of group activities. Every group has a team member, team lead, and keep rotating that. Do a lot of group activities in your class. You don't have to keep teaching. What you can do, you can make chunks, ask them to read, then make them into different groups. Each group reads one paragraph and they have to explain. This way, you are following whether they are following it, and then you add your own inputs. Don't go teach them the lesson first itself. Let them do it, especially in social studies, geography, biology, except where, there are like math, where it requires your help. All other subjects, children can learn, they can explain it in their own words. And then if there is a difficulty, you as a teacher can help. This way, they are able to focus, and there is team building that's happening. There is a lot of collaboration work that is happening. Encourage them to participate, and then have student councils in your own schools. And then you can also ask them to see whether they can do small. Today, we are talking about maker labs. Every school is supposed to have an innovation center. whether they can come up with small innovations. It can be very small, but most of these innovations are coming up now from the government schools. You have the Atal tinkering labs and all that, where the children use indigenous materials and create small tools, equipment. All that is actually an idea for them to become entrepreneurs in future. And most importantly, you have to build not just their literacy skills or cognitive skills. You have to build their emotional intelligence, self-awareness, empathy, love, compassion, being human. Their hearts should open up to others, how to navigate various relationships. Children may come from different kinds of backgrounds. So your classroom strategies, you should always, make place in your classrooms to talk about love and compassion. And also ensure that there are counselors. I do not know how many school leaders are there in this group, on this call, but please see that you bring in counselors to give them practical tips. Talk to the children and find out whether they are going through any emotional ups and downs in their lives. In the Sathya Sai organization, you have a lot of people who are counselors. They'll be very happy to lend their services. You don't have to hire somebody. You don't have to have them on your payrolls. You can just have them once in a year or once in a quarter, assess them, talk to the children, especially as they're transiting from their, teenage years, sensitive years, conduct mindfulness sessions, talk to them about mental health. All these are very important in today's world, not just teaching through the books. So these are some of the classroom strategies by which you can build their life skills. Then adaptability and resilience. Children have to become strong. They have to be strong within. How do you build all these things? So if you have a counselor, they would be able to take them through playway methods and help them, prepare them to face a life which is filled with uncertainty. It is no longer the life of innocence or happiness that we as children went through. Children see a lot of things in their society, in their own homes. This is the reality. It is not an ideal world. So you have to, as teachers, teachers are like those lifeguards in a swimming pool. You don't have to actually be, you have to keep looking whether a child is getting drowned because of their problems. Jump in immediately and pick them up. So you have to watch for those signs very carefully in the class. You give them positive reinforcement. All these things can happen if you have professional counselors. It's not possible for teachers alone to do it. Kindly take the help of the organization. There are many counselors in our organization who will be, happy to come and help you. So see to it that, and they will train your teachers. Whenever you have orientation classes, incorporate one counseling session for the teachers so that they will train the teachers how to train the children. So include all these things in your classrooms as part of the strategy. And this way we are able to build their life skills. So with this, we conclude to some extent. I have given you a bird's eye view in these 2 hours, last session and this, on the literacy skills, on the learning skills, and on the life skills. Each one of these have a lot of these under the basket. You had a lot of those skills. So I hope you were able to understand and, to some extent, if you are able to use these in your own classrooms, that would be excellent. If you need more help, you can always ask for help. We're all there. Interactions can take place not just through here, but through make use of the forum to put forth your questions. We'll be too happy to handle them. And now I open the floor, and it's been a monologue for so long, not the way that I would love to do. If there are interactive sessions, it would be really good because that will help me understand if there are any gaps in the way this interaction is taking place. So please feel free to come out with your questions. Sairam, somebody had raised their hand. I saw that Yes, please.
Say Rama Chakravarti, is it?
Sairam, sir.
Yeah,
Sairam,
Sairam.
madam.
Sairam.
Sairam,
Yeah,
madam.
you say,
Sairam.
sir, from where you are, then you can ask your question.
My name is Chakravarti, madam. I'm a principal for CMR school, Gajula Ramaram. It's a part of CMR group of schools. Earlier, I was with the Chinmay Vidyalaya. Recently, I have come here. And the session which you have conducted today on life skills and the inputs you have given are highly commendable and very nice. Provided if we get an opportunity to have some teacher training or give the diversified opinions to the teachers and make aware of the situations and circumstances, especially the focus on 21st century skills, literacy, numeracy skills, life skills is very, very nice. And it is compulsory, it is mandatory for the in the coming days the teacher should have an awareness on all these skills. Then only they can survive well and they can face the forthcoming generations in the classroom environment.
True.
Thank you, madam. Sairam.
Sairam. Actually, I'm not sure if many of you are aware of it, but Vidya Vahini conducts training sessions, and all these are available on our LMS also. So, in case you as a school want your teachers to take part in these trainings, you want to benefit this also forms part of your professional development, which NEP is now mandated. So, if you are interested, you can write to the director at Sri Sathya Sai Vidyavahini.org saying that you would like to have those training sessions for your schools, and your teachers will definitely benefit from these sessions, because whatever I am giving you in these 1 hour sessions is just a tip of the iceberg. But we need to have in-depth, sessions for the teachers. That can definitely that can be done. If you are interested, please write to us, and we'll be happy to take it forward.
Sure, madam. Sure, compulsory. And April and we will be having 4 5 days free time. At that time, usually the teachers will be writing the lesson plans for the academic year. So at that time, we'll have usually I will be conducting orientation for the teachers. So I request one of our expert teachers like you, expert organizers, and who can provide a very nice orientation on 1 or 2 concepts like classroom environment or
Yes.
the concepts of national education policy or
Yes.
evaluation and assessment, anyone, or
Yes.
discipline, different components. We will have one session, madam. If you can share one phone number or something, how I can approach your teacher trainers, then I'll submit a request to you, madam, and I'll invite the trainers also to our Vidyalaya.
Yeah, Sairam Chakravarti garu, for just
Sairam,
time
sir.
being, I put the helpline email ID, which is South India's or Journal, this thing. Otherwise, what Dr. Akila says, yeah, she has put the director Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini. You can note down these 2 email IDs. You can reach out to us, and like sister told, Vidya Vahini is ready to help you, sir. Okay?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Sairam.
Sairam, sir. Sairam.
Any other doubts you all have? Anyone has? You can. Otherwise, I'll hand this session back to Brother Vishnuvardhan and Professor Mukundan, sir. Thank you very much for having me once again. I'm so humbled and honored. Thank you all for your patient listening month after month. You've made it convenient to come to the sessions. I hope these have been useful for all of you. And I'm grateful to Professor Mukundan, sir, for having considered me, as worthy of even addressing this sessions. Thank you very much, and thank you to Swami for enabling all of us to be present here. So with these words, I will take leave of you. Thank you so much, Sairam.
Sairam, madam.
Yeah,
Thank
madam.
you. Yeah, Kumari Shobana, you want to say something, or Sairam, sister Kumari garu, you want to say something?
Sairam.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Thank you, Dr. Indurti, Madam. It was a very like enhancing the knowledge of the people who have joined on this call. And we also extend a warm welcome to Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini English program also. For that, Dr. Akila Indurti is the national head, lead. Anybody who is interested to enhance your English language skills, we are open, and we have a phone your friend program, we have a sign-in program, and other teaching like teachers enhancement programs also what sister has told. The Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini is a multi-directional, multi-disciplined organization spread across India and other countries also. So we are always we are glad to help any teaching people or the institutions. You are welcome to contact us. I have given two email IDs are given in the chat box. You can note down and you can reach out to any of us. We are ready. And with this, we'll end the session with the Shanti Mantram. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai. Thank you everyone once again. Sairam.
Thank you all, Sairam.
Sairam.
Sir, you are there. Huh? So I'm sorry, Mukunda sir.
Problem. No problem.
Yes, say a few words. I'm sorry, I thought you are not there actually.
No, I wish well. Everything was only to express our gratitude to Sister Dr. Akila.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful role for the teachers as the lifeguard. So grateful. We are all grateful to indebted to Dr. Akila. Thank you, sister, and we thank all the participants. Thank you, Brother Vishnuvardhan. Sairam.
Thank you, sir.
Sairam, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah.